exile, foundation. The year is 1948, the moment that changed the fate of the Middle East forever. Everything we see in the news today begins here. But how did we get to this point? When did this conflict actually begin? To find the answer, we have to go back not 100, but almost 2,000 years. Welcome to a 7-minute neutral history of the most disputed land on Earth, 1st century AD. The region was part of the Roman Empire known as Judea. The population consisted of Samaritans, local Aramaic-speaking peoples, Jews, and communities influenced by Hellenistic culture. However, two major rebellions against Rome changed everything. In 70 AD, Jerusalem and the Second Temple were destroyed during the First Jewish Revolt. To 135 AD, the Bar Kokhba revolt was even more brutally suppressed. And here was the turning point. Emperor Hadrian decided to erase Jewish identity from the region. He renamed the province Syria Palestine after the Philistines, an ancient Aegean people who once lived there. Many Jews were exiled. This marked the beginning of the diaspora, the beginning of exile. When Rome later adopted Christianity, the region's fate shifted again. Palestine became the Holy Land. During the Byzantine Empire, it turned into a major Christian pilgrimage center, inhabited by Christianized locals and Greek settlers. 7th century. A new power, the religion that has taken over the whole world, represented by the Prophet Muhammad, Islam. Umar's armies conquered Jerusalem in 637. The Byzantine province of Palestine became the Palestine military district, under the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates. This period radically altered the demographics of the region. The local population, Christians and the remaining Jewish communities, became largely Arabic-speaking and Muslim. Due to Arab migration and Islamization, Jerusalem became the third holiest city in Islam, after Mecca and Medina. In 1099, Crusaders from Europe invaded the region under the pretext of liberating the Holy Land. They perpetrated a massive massacre in Jerusalem and established the Kingdom of Jerusalem. This opened a deep wound in Christian-Muslim relations. In 1099, the Crusaders arrived from Europe, claiming to liberate the Holy Land. They massacred Jerusalem's inhabitants and established the Kingdom of Jerusalem, leaving a deep scar in Christian-Muslim relations. But in 1187, Salah ad-Din, Saladin, defeated the Crusaders at Hattin and reclaimed Jerusalem. The region then came under Ayyubid, and later Mamluk control ruled from Egypt. 1517, Sultan Selim I defeated the Mamluks, and the land became part of the Ottoman Empire for the next 400 years. The Ottomans governed the area as part of the Syrian province, divided into districts, sanjaks, like Jerusalem, Nablus, and Acre. Under the millet system, Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived largely autonomously under their own religious laws. For most of these 4 centuries, the region experienced relative stability and coexistence. But the 19th century brought change again. Rising anti-Semitism in Europe gave birth to a new idea among Jews: Zionism. Theodor Herzl argued that Jews must return to their promised land and establish a national homeland. At the same time, the Ottoman Empire was weakening, and Arab nationalism was emerging. From the 1880s, small groups of Jews, funded by wealthy Europeans, began immigrating to Palestine in waves called the First Aliyahs, buying land from local Arabs. Two nationalist movements were now on a collision course over the same land. World War I. The Ottoman Empire sided with Germany and lost. The British promised the Arabs independence if they revolted against the Ottomans, McMahon Hussein correspondence. But at the same time, in 1917, they issued the Balfour Declaration, supporting the creation of a Jewish national home in Palestine. When the war ended, the Ottomans withdrew. Arabs expected independence, but instead the region became the British Mandate of Palestine. Britain was caught between its two conflicting promises. The 1920s and 1930s were years of rising tension. As Britain allowed more Jewish immigration, the Arab population saw it as a threat to their homeland. Meanwhile, the rise of Nazism and the Holocaust turned Jewish migration from a choice into a desperate necessity. In 1936, Palestinian Arabs launched a major revolt against British rule and Jewish immigration, crushed by force. Around the same time, Jewish paramilitary groups like Haganah and Irgun armed themselves against both Arabs and the British. The land had become a powder keg. After World War II, exhausted Britain handed the issue to the United Nations. In 1947, the UN Partition Plan proposed dividing the land into Arab and Jewish states, with Jerusalem as an international city. The Jewish Agency accepted the plan. The Arab states and Palestinian Arabs rejected it, refusing to divide what they saw as their ancestral land. On May 14, 1948, the last British troops left. David Ben-Gurion declared the State of Israel. Within hours, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq were invaded. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War had begun. The war shaped the modern Middle East. Israel gained more territory than the UN plan recognized. More than 750,000 Palestinian Arabs fled or were expelled, a process Israelis call the War of Independence, and Palestinians the Nakba, Great Catastrophe. Palestinians use this term to describe the destruction of their identity, political rights, and national aspirations. The term is also used to describe both the events of 1948 and the ongoing occupation of Palestinian territories and the oppression and displacement of Palestinians throughout the region. The 1948 war was only the modern chapter of a story that began in antiquity, and everything that followed since is a story for another video. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments. Understanding this complex history is the first step toward understanding today's world.